Well, Georgia played their ass off all weekend, and we did not. So for 7 innings today, I thought we were going to win that game. Gainey did great, did exactly what we thought he would in the starting role, and then obviously it all fell in on us those last 2 innings. So got to be better from that, and we will.
Mark, with the series and Hoover left to go, what did you talk to the team about today? Just about today, or saying the road ahead, we can still pull out of this?
A little bit of both. I talked to them about how this game was not meant to pat you on the back. This is a game built on failure that will beat you up, give you a lot of highs and give you a lot of lows, and you need to handle it properly. And this game will make a man out of you if you play it long enough. And this was one of those weekends that we took a lot of gut punches that we got to make sure we grow from and become tougher from. Again, tip my cap to Georgia. It's amazing what they've done. They've turned that program around in very short order thanks to the transfer portal. It's probably the best offense we saw all year, and we've got to pitch better regardless of who we're playing.
The decision to go to Connor with 2 outs in the 8th after he struggled yesterday, was that righty-righty, or was there something else at play? Any thought of leaving Becker in there?
Yeah, it was a pretty easy decision for us. The results were not what anybody wanted, but the decision was very easy. That pinch hitter, Becker, was in there to face the lefty Goldstein coming up. They pinch hit for him because Jordan hits lefties at a 333 clip, and he hits righties. He hits righties at a 212 clip. So it was very easy to go from the lefty to the righty there. But we didn't make a good pitch, and obviously he hit the ball of the ballpark.
Coach, when you have those innings like you did in the 8th, where the bullpen's just trying to get that final out, and it seems like these mistakes keep compounding on themselves. What's some things that are, I guess, maybe said, or I guess maybe things you guys try to do to just try to get that one out when these mistakes keep piling up?
Well, you've got to throw strikes. At the end of the day, we had a 2-run lead in the 8th inning, and you can't walk guys. I mean, it's pretty simple. You can't walk guys in that situation, and if you don't walk guys and you make them put the ball in play, your defense is going to get outs for you. And you can't start rallies for hitters that are that good. And we did. We helped them. And they obviously took advantage of it. But at the end of the day, guys, Garrett Gainey showed them that you can get those guys out if you make your pitches. And we just didn't make pitches as much when he came out of the game.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Garrett. What did you think of his start today? And did you ever anticipate after the outing that he had using 6 guys to get 11 outs today?
No, I didn't. I mean, the plan was Gainey, Veach, and then SQ. SQ, obviously, the last time he pitched on this field, he shut out Kentucky. And so surprised how today went. But Gainey did his job. That's exactly what we thought we would get out of him. 80 pitches was his pitch count because we have to work him up as we get towards regionals so that he'll be a 100-pitch guy for the regionals, but you can't snap your fingers and have that happen overnight. Beach came in and only gave up the 1 earned run, minimized some damage, and I liked where we were at that point. Again, we had a guy coming in the game with a 2-run lead with 2 innings to go that had thrown a shutout against Kentucky, so it just didn't work out.
With the Tennessee series coming up, do you have to rethink your pitching plans here over the next few days before you go to Knoxville based on what you saw this weekend and what you've seen the previous couple of weekends?
Well, we saw that Gainey now is probably going to be one of our starters, so we'll continue to make adjustments on the fly if we have to. The trick is to try to figure out what you're going to get. We've got a lot of talented guys, but they've given us ups and downs, and the trick is trying to figure out which one you're going to get on any given day. And that's what makes it harder. When you have more consistency, it's easier to lay out how the pieces fit together. When there's inconsistency, it makes it harder. And so you just got to hope that you make enough good decisions and you get the good rather than the bad.
Mark, in the 8th is tied. You guys take the lead on the Petrie knock. He's on second, nobody out. What was the thinking about having to bunt Jackson there with nobody out and potential big inning looming?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Ask the question again. What was the question?
What was the thinking behind bunting Jackson right there with Petrie on second?
Try to get another run. I mean, that's pretty simple. Blake's been getting on base a lot via the bunt. He's a multi-dimensional player. He's a speed guy. I think at least one more of our rallies today was a part of his bunt for hits and creating some chaos there, and that's a big part of his game, which is why he's in between Petrie and Messina. So it was that, again, that was an easy decision, but we just didn't get him in after that.
With the pitching in general this weekend, what do you kind of chalk it up to? Is it something where Georgia's just on every pitch y'all are throwing? Is it control issues, walking too many guys? What's kind of your analysis of that?
Probably all the above. All the above. We walked too many guys. But again, Gainey showed that you can get it done against them. That's a really good offense, maybe the best we've seen. And I'd have to say, as of right now, it's the best we've seen. I know we have a really good Tennessee club next week, but this is the best we've seen in our ballpark. And we've had Arkansas, and we've had Vanderbilt, and we've had Texas A&M, and we've had a lot of great teams in our ballpark. That was the best offense we saw all year by far, and we just have to rise to the challenge better than we did this weekend.
Is there anything at all you can take from a series like that where kind of all 3 days fell apart? You have to wipe the slate clean completely and kind of start over going into next weekend?
That's what you have to do. You have to wipe the slate clean. Again, as I mentioned to the team, we've had some really high highs, and this was a low low. It's the first time we've gotten swept this year. And again, I thought we were going to win the game going to the 8th inning. I thought it was going to be another one of those where, okay, we found a way to keep our head above water, and we'll just move on. And the RPI stays in the top 12, and we'll be fine. Look at the big picture. But those last 2 innings were a nightmare, and we're going to have to handle them properly. I asked anybody in that huddle, anybody ready to quit, do you think the season's over? The answer obviously is no. We've got one more regular season, then we've got the tournament, and then we've got the NCAA tournament. And at the end of the day, in the big picture, the goal every year is get to the NCAA tournament and then get hot, for 5 games and find your way to Omaha. So all of that is still ahead of us. But this is a gut punch this weekend that our guys have to learn how to handle and respond properly to.
I'm sure people are going to be wondering, why it took until now to start Gainey. Did you ever think earlier in the year about having him start, or what was kind of the build up to this?
Yeah, we've thought about it, but again, he was doing such a great job finishing games. You've got to start a game, but you also have to be able to finish a game. And again, we're picking where the challenge has been, okay, who can do this role, who can do that role. And we had been thinking about it for a while, and as you know, Matt was his pitching coach at Liberty last year. And Matt's opinion was that for now, at least the first half of the season, he liked him better in this role than he did as a starter at Liberty. But we got to the point, obviously, now where it's a pretty easy decision that we need starters. Now we just got to find the guys that can slam the door shut after he comes out of the game. Thank you.